today's host. I'm Dr. Karem. I practice aesthetics, and the lovely Charlotte. And we're here to discuss her journey with, she's been through different disciplines of medicine and different departments within Hortman Clinics, but we'll focus on the aesthetics department and how we started, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about different treatments that we've done.
I am the Joan Rivers of the Hortman Clinic. I have been through every department. So how did we meet? What was the first treatment we did together? I think it was Botox, right?
It was Botox, yes.
And we have done a multitude of different things. So I think I started with Botox with you. Then I think we tried some skin boosters, which I love to kind of like freshen things up. We've done a little bit of filling here and there.
Right.
And then we moved on to some more kind of like intensive bits and pieces once I learned to trust you.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I technically now just come in and go, what can you do for me today?
Right.
We don't actually have a regime anymore, do we? I mean, you probably do, but I don't. I just come in and
I have a treatment
hope
plan
that you're going to fix me.
That we don't always follow it exactly, because understandably people have different social commitments, cannot have downtime, traveling. Some procedures, would interact with some daily life activities.
You're talking about my tanning.
Well, I was thinking about you working out on a daily basis, but yes, the tanning works as well, so we can't do lasers, peels. The idea is we need to plan out the treatments around a person's lifestyle. But we also worked on your mindset when it came to Botox. You had to trust me for like 4 months to not do your Botox to get better mobility, and then
we actually rowed.
Better results.
We actually had a row, do you remember?
I
had a row with you.
You weren't in the best mood that day, and I'm like, okay.
Told me, you know I couldn't have Botox? What? But actually it was for the right reasons.
It is.
And now I actually am a little bit more understanding of these things.
Right, we need to respect anatomy, we need to respect muscular integrity, give some muscles a chance to relax so that you'd get the best out of your treatment. Right?
I think, to be honest, that's the one thing I love about coming to the Hortman and seeing you. I was so used to going to different places and people just saying, yes, you can have this, yes, you can have that. And I didn't really understand the contraindications to doing that because it's so easily available. But actually, you need to have a professional that's guiding you and helping you long term and understand the reasons why you shouldn't necessarily be doing things. It's not just about giving everybody what they want, right?
No, sometimes the treatment is not for the right person. Sometimes it's not the right time, and sometimes the person just doesn't need it. Right?
Yeah, I respect that.
So throughout your journey, we worked on your concerns, and based on those concerns, we built treatment plans. And sometimes it was a single modality kind of treatment. Sometimes it was multiple approach or multiple sessions, multiple machines or injectables, like when we worked on the stomach.
Yeah, that's actually, do you know what? That's been one of my biggest insecurities. And I was very, very skeptical about what you'd be able to do for me. So for those that don't know, my skin was quite loose. I have already had a tummy tuck, but with anything, a tummy tuck is not going to solve anything or everything. There were still some areas of concern kind of at the upper stomach.
Right.
So we did Morphosate.
We did Morpheus.
And we mixed it with something, right?
We did Radius, which is a calcium hydroxyapatite collagen stimulating solution. It takes time. Nothing is instant gratification kind of thing. It takes time. It takes 45 to 60 days to see the results. The Morpheus takes as well like 30 to 45 days for the complete healing. Some people take it longer, some people less. So there had to be a lot of trust, less tanning.
I was very good with that.
I know.
But the results spoke for themselves.
Yes.
And you're right, it did take 3 months. I was waiting for like instant, kept like looking. But then 3 months down the line, obviously we took before pictures. The outcome was so much better than I'd actually expected.
Right.
Like, it looks so good.
I mean, I'm all for a surgical approach when people need it. And even, I'm not a surgeon myself, but during a consultation, I let a patient know all their options, whether it's with me or with someone else. And even with a surgical approach, whether it's for the face or for the body, the skin quality has not been, yes, you've pulled it, you've cut it, you've tucked it, but the skin quality still needs some attention, some love, and some treatments to help to make the skin match the rest of the aesthetics.
Yeah, and I think, some of us are aging, there's gravity, we have children after we have these kind of surgeries, and that changes the whole anatomy. It's not going to stay like that forever.
Right.
We can't
the yo-yoing
stop
effect,
the aging process, but we can can help it a little
Definitely,
bit, right?
yes. To a healthy extent. I always believe less is more. I mean, I know you've pushed me for some treatments in the past, and I'll be like, not now, or you don't need it.
What's next?
What's next, exactly. I mean, I have to agree, there's a lot of temptations on social media, and there's a lot of before and afters, and without getting into whether they're real or
No, let's get into it. There's a lot that is not real.
Well, some of it is real, but slightly modified. Some are completely unreal. So patients always have questions, and I believe patients catch up on the hype of new treatments before we even have a chance to test them out and understand.
There's not a long enough period to know whether it's actually going to work or not.
No, and I mean, we're expected to have answers and to have already tried out a new product and tested it, and sometimes I just say, I don't know, I haven't used it yet.
But that's what we love about you.
Oh,
we love that honesty. We don't want someone that's just going to take our money and promise us everything and then deliver nothing. So I think that's super important.
Honesty is very important. It's really good to be transparent, so that as a patient you need to. It's like when you do Botox and you're like, in 14 days it's going to work. You need to know what you're getting yourself into, and I mean, there's a financial aspect, there's an emotional aspect, a social aspect. You're prepared for the treatment, and you need to know, would it meet your expectations or not?
Yeah, and what you're actually going to see in the mirror in 14 days versus in your mind what you're going to see. I mean, I always think I'm going to see like Sofia Vergara, but it's still me, just a little bit of a better version.
I'd like to see Sofia Vergara.
Next time, maybe. And then with what other treatments have we done? Oh, what about the tattoo? I mean, let's be transparent. You love my tattoo, don't you?
What was it? Was it a dinosaur now?
It's not a dinosaur. It was a gecko.
Well, when you remove half of it, it's just the head of a dinosaur.
Yeah. Now I feel like I have to tell the story. So I had a tattoo. I had a lower body lift because I lost a lot of weight. Then I had half a tattoo, and now it's the most obscure looking thing. So we're working on lasering it
looks
off.
like 3 dinosaurs on the horizon.
Okay, enough. That transparency is way too much for anybody to be listening to.
But tattoos is another thing where people have unrealistic expectations, because most of the videos that are posted on social media just shows that immediate frosting effect
the
from
first
the
section,
laser.
right, where you see like the white line.
Exactly.
And you go, oh my god, I want that. But what you don't see is when you get home, that white line disappears and the colour rises back up again.
Exactly. It takes time for the colour to fade, and it might come back exactly the same. The skin might already have been scarred from previous treatments, and it takes 2 to 3 months between the sessions. And the more stubborn the tattoo, the more time I have to leave for the tattoo ink to rise to the surface. Yes, true.
That is my stubborn dinosaur. We're working on it still.
And sometimes we need to mix different lasers to be able to penetrate to the ink. So again, people always have a question of how many sessions, and I can't
This
tell
one's
them.
how long's a piece of string, right?
Right, exactly. I mean,
you have to be so patient.
You have to try and just see how it responds. Some people are extremely lucky and some are unlucky, and it depends on the type of ink, the location, how long you've had it, the colors, how mixed they are.
How many times you've gone over it.
Exactly, there's so many aspects.
How many boyfriends' names you've covered over it.
There's so many aspects to tattoo removals, even though on social media it seems like a very simple procedure, like just anyone can do a tattoo, but you can burn the skin, you can scar the skin, and the pigment or the ink just gets stuck there.
But that's another really important thing that you mentioned. You know, you're talking about skin scarring and different types of lasers and different types of, products that you use. That's also really important. And one thing I've learned recently from a couple of friends that have been to places is it's not just about finding the right doctor, but making sure they're using the very best equipment and the best products, because not every laser is the same as another laser in a different clinic.
I agree 100%. I mean, I have to be very honest. I'm very fortunate to be working at Horton Clinics, where all technologies are available. So we have so many different kinds of lasers, so many different kinds of radio frequency, I'll refer to them as energy-based devices, whether it's radio frequency, ultrasound. We have almost every injectable product on the market that is beneficial, that we have tried it out. And so we have so many resources to work with, and especially when it comes to energy-based devices or skin tightening machines or body contouring machines, etc., we have a solution, or we have a treatment protocol for almost every indication that most people would be suffering from.
I mean, let's maybe share a story about how, you know, you can kind of go somewhere and end up really not better off because you've chosen to also spend maybe less money or go somewhere that someone's told you about that isn't necessarily the right place. I mean, I've contacted you a couple of times recently, right, with friends of mine
Yes.
that have gone to different places and their faces have blown up like balloons.
Right.
They've ended up with seromas in their face, crystallization, burnt from lasers. So, I mean, it is really something you should do your homework on.
True.
Look
100%.
into who you're using, look into the equipment that's being used, the products that clinics are using.
Right.
It's so important.
I personally, I mean, I don't like to shame anyone, but
That's why I'm not going to shame.
When,
We're not going to name and shame. We're just giving loose examples.
but I believe, I mean, when you're dealing with the healthcare industry, there are a lot of unknowns in the aesthetic field, and there are a lot of different reactions. There are a lot of different outcomes. The doctor-patient relationship should have enough trust and
respect between each other, right?
100%. But there should be enough transparency for a patient to call back the doctor and tell them what the problem is. Let them know, like, we've done this procedure and such is the outcome. Is this normal? And then, of course, I mean, the doctor would take the right decision to bring the patient in, reassess, reevaluate. Not everything is 100% risk-free. I mean, there's a risk in almost all the procedures that we do, and this is one of those. I mean, I get patients who, for example, who are getting their second session or touch-up of their Botox, and I'm like, why wouldn't you go to your original injector? And they're like, oh, because I don't like how my eyebrow looks. I'm like, but it's a fix. It's a simple fix. I mean, I can fix it. I'm pretty sure they can fix it as well.
I think I have actually come to you and done that once during the
have.
summer when I didn't have time to come in at home.
But yeah, it's very easy to just go back to your doctor and say, I'm not happy with this outcome. And then if they fail to find your solution, then yes, go find someone else. But there are a lot of patients that are clinic hopping, and that just means that you don't have a full treatment plan. No one knows exactly the history of what procedures were done and what was the next procedure in line. And I think that brings a lot of harm to the patient.
And I guess the other thing is, as a doctor, you need to get to know that person's anatomy. Like, none of us are carbon copies of each other, right?
No.
We all react differently, and sometimes you might need a little tweak somewhere that someone else doesn't.
True. I like the medical terminology that you're throwing in every now
I
and
know, look at me, right? Pretending like I know what I'm talking about.
No, of course you do. But yes, it's true 100%. We're not all built the same. We don't all have the same reaction. We all different outcomes from particular products. I mean, there are, let's say, tens of registered filler products on the market. And different doctors prefer different brands because they trust them, they know the outcome, they know what to expect, etc. And just jumping from one clinic to another, going through different doctors means that you'll get a different favorite of each. And it just means that you have a mixture of so many products in your face. And most patients, when they go to a doctor for their first visit, they are, let's say, they're hesitant to dissolve all the previous filler and start fresh, like especially the lips. And it just means that you have a mixture of so many products in your face, and it means that you might get a reaction that no one else would get.
True. Because
you haven't been through the same process. And if we're talking about lips, I just want to bring something up that...
My lips.
No.
Awkward.
No, I just want to bring up the fact that most patients, there is a thing or a particular indication that gets them into this aesthetic field, and it is usually the lips. And from my perspective, I find that starting with the lips is a more invasive procedure than most patients think. I mean, there are simpler things to start with, like Botox, a facial, microneedling, a gentle peel, but jumping to augment the lips as a first visit to your healthcare provider is not as simple as most people think.
Well, I think because coming from someone that's obviously tried lips as well, but it's actually not for me. I thought it was something very simple when I very first had my lips done. And I was like, yeah, I want 1 ml in the top, 1 ml in the bottom. I had no idea what I was talking about. I definitely didn't want 1 ml in the top, and I didn't want 1 ml in the bottom. And actually, for me, lips wasn't a thing. I ended up dissolving them. I didn't like it at all. It's actually a huge change.
It is.
And it's something you should start very, very small and kind of work your way up to. And I think you're right. Sometimes it's those things that I think because you want that instant, as a woman, you want that instant feeling of looking better and more beautiful and younger and rejuvenated. And if someone says to you, you can have a facial or microneedling, you feel like that's
boring.
Not enough.
That's boring.
Right, it's boring. I need more than this.
Right.
But actually, for me, we did the microneedling under my eyes.
Right.
And that is one of my favourite treatments. In fact, I would like it done after.
Okay, maybe just
This
right after
checklist.
this. Yes. Microneedling is beautiful.
I love it.
I think it's one of the underrated, cost-effective, and really skin-nourishing treatment. I mean, you get your products delivered. You get collagen stimulation. It's a calculated trauma. It's nothing that's going to leave you scarred. It's not a laser. There's no heat involved. It's mildly discomfortable, but I mean, it's
really
over in like 15-20 minutes.
And it's so affordable.
It is. Yes, cost-effective.
It's so affordable. I love it.
Right, and
I'm a
there's
huge,
so many
huge fan.
different products to try. There's so many mesotherapies on the market that you can just add to your solution and do your microneedling with. You can combine it with a facial. You can get it done at the same time as getting your Botox done.
But that's the thing, it's not like, as you said, like, it's not just microneedling.
No.
There's so much more and so many other options. Like, one microneedling is not the same as another.
No, they're not. You have different depths, different machines, different protocols, different indications. Some people do it just for maintenance. Some people do it for acne scarring, and I think it's a great tool.
But you talk about, like, the different lasers and things that you've got. But the other
Sure.
thing I don't think that people really think about, and as a person that's not in the medical field, I guess I kind of compare it to being a hairdresser. Like, you have to keep training in the different techniques and different instruments and different, lasers that you have.
Right.
I went to a clinic that we shall not name about 8 years ago to have some spider veins removed with a laser. And they were talking about how they had this amazing new laser. They'd only got it a week before. Come in, like, it's going to be amazing. And I actually got 3rd-degree burns around my nose. My nose has never been the same since around here. And it just goes to show that it was a week old and no one had actually trained on it. They were just like, oh, we can use this.
It takes experience.
Whereas I know you guys have years of experience in the machines. You don't use them unless you've had a full training and expertise in them, which is important.
I mean, the science behind lasers keeps changing, but the machines and the technology is getting stronger and stronger. And we need to keep understanding how newer technologies are being used. And I mean, there's nothing 100% safe. Everything has its risks.
Sure.
And I mean, as a department, we learn from one another because we all have different backgrounds. We've worked in different clinics. We've worked with different technologies. And as a team, we bring this all together and, I guess, test drive all the machines before we start using them comfortably and confidently. And of course, I mean, we'll fix whatever was ruined in the past, but it does take experience. Yes, it doesn't stop there. We're always at conferences, at lectures. We get the trainers, international trainers from the suppliers that.
I mean, I've even known you before to kind of get another doctor in. Like, nobody has an ego here and go, this is what I'm doing. I'm actually thinking about this. Like, what do you think? Like,
second opinions.
Knowledge sharing,
always,
amazing.
Yes. I mean, we definitely work as a team at Hortons. And if there's an information that I miss, I know that my colleague has, and we build upon that.
Amazing. Well, thank you for treating me.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us.